After selling dozens of AI voice assistants, we've developed the perfect sales process for closing $12,500 deals. In this video, you'll get a step-by-step breakdown of a live discovery call so you can start closing deals today. If you're new to the channel, my name's Lenny Cowens, and alongside my partner Terrell, we've been building and selling voice AI solutions through our AI agency, 60B, for the past 18 months. This is part one of a three-part series where, for the very first time, I'll be revealing our entire sales process uncut. These are our 6 steps for conducting a successful discovery call. Step 1 starts with establishing rapport. Establishing rapport is super important because ultimately people buy from people who they like. So try and find a common topic, whether it be sports or history or whatever it might be. And it's super important moving forward in the conversation for you guys to essentially warm up, break the ice, and get to know each other a little bit. Step 2 is clearly identifying the customer's needs. Now, in this part of the call, we hand it to the customer to explain their use case in totality. That's including the CRM integrations they want. They want text messages, emails, pretty much everything from start to finish of what they expect this voice assistant to do for their business. Step 3 is verbally confirming that use case back to the client. Reason being, in some cases, you might misinterpret what they're telling you. So getting on the same page is super important. And the best way to do that is to verbally confirm it with the client. Step 4 is introducing voice assistant packages. So this is the first time they're actually going to hear about how we deliver these voice assistants and the price points. In this part, you really want to push the importance of testing. Testing is where and how you get the voice assistant to perform exactly how you want it to. Out the box, these things can perform anywhere from 60 to around 90% accurate, but in most cases, it's on that lower tier, especially with people who are just starting out to build. And this is where you need to convey the importance of that testing to the client, because that's how you get them to purchase that $12,500 package. Voice assistants are probabilistic systems. That means if there's 3 pass based off of the directions you're giving it to take on a question that they receive, it could take any of those 3 pass randomly. So testing is where we're able to really refine the performance of the voice assistant. Step 5 is preparing the client for the proposal call. That's letting them know all the materials that you'll need to prepare that proposal for that follow-up call. Now, what that includes for us is a detailed call script from start to finish of how they're currently training their employees. 2 would be any business materials, including maybe their website, FAQs, or business info that they'd like in the knowledge base. And 3 is any call recordings that they have available for us to observe and really get an idea of how employees are currently handling this task. The final step might be the most important because this is where you lock in that next call. So you always want to schedule the next proposal call, or in general, the next touch point with that client on that discovery call. Reason being, if you don't, in a lot of cases, they go ghost, or you might email them and it might get lost in their spam. Multiple things could happen. So you really want to schedule this on the call with them, confirm the time, and then also confirm that they received that invite. Those are our 6 steps for conducting a successful discovery call. Now, let's dive straight into the live discovery call.
And here's where we're at. So when saw you and your partner's approach to find the right people, build the right programs, keep it simple, and implement. Just implement over and over and over again. I said, I got to talk to these guys.
Yeah.
That's why we're on this call.
Fantastic.
So when I learned recently, I've been watching, your partner on your Skool site, right? And
by the way, Voice AI Accelerator is the Skool community that he's speaking of. It's a community where me and Terrell are essentially helping voice AI agencies build and sell voice assistants. So if you're interested in finding clients like this one, make sure to join that community. Link in the description.
And learned that I could really appreciate you, right? I'm not an AI guy. I'm not a developer guy. I'm a business professional. Okay?
Yeah.
But I'm figuring this out because I can't stand to have this pile of developers sit there and lie to me and make nonsense up all day long. So I just decided to do what you did. I'm going to build it. I'm going to build no code because codes, quite frankly, probably in another year will be non-existent anyways.
Prompting is everything. Prompting is literally everything. It's funny because Terrell and I have been partners for a very long time. We've been partners we're going on to 7 years now. So out of college, I got into finance, and I was always an athlete, got into finance. And the thing that kind of annoyed me about finance is it's like they were limiting my ceiling in a sense of year by year by year. It was like, this is what your growth potential
This is
is.
the structure you're going to fit in now. I hope you enjoy your box.
Exactly.
Right?
And historically, I was like, wait, if I'm worth or if I can help push things forward, I feel like that, but obviously, right, that's every new person just getting the workforce. I can change it all, and then you get into the real world and you're like, well, that's not how it works. But from there, I was like, hey, let's try something else. Me and my other original partner, started a tech startup, and then we brought Terrell in because we weren't technical, and then it was off the races. That tech startup failed. But around that time, we learned so much initially from that, failure. For one, timing, market conditions, and opportunities. Those are essentially everything. The timing of our platform was not very good. The opportunity was there earlier, but it very quickly dwindled, and the market was horrific. The music industry was our market, and we're dealing with an audience who does not have very much money and does not want to solve their problems, don't want to put in the effort to solve the problem we were brought out for them, essentially. But you can't force feed someone, right? You can read a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So that's what we figured out. We're like, wow, this is very tough. Funny enough, Terrell is also an AI specialist. This guy, he's been into AI since the jump of AI. He was one of the first 500 guys on ChatGPT. So he's been, in it from the jump. And after our tech startup, we got into the AI space. He was in custom AI for the majority of it. He brought me in because I was doing voice AI. That was before voice AI really took off 8 months ago. From there, that's when I started doing the groundwork. And it's funny because now our roles have switched. I was the CEO of our tech startup, and he was the CTO, and now it's kind of switched to the sense of now I'm like, hey, I'm down just to build. Like this building stuff is kind of cool. Like I can do this,
I'm taking it.
I'm good at it. You can handle all the outward talking to people, and you do that and all. So it's kind of funny how it switches. But ultimately, what he's always told me is, dude, Lenny, you don't understand, man. Prompting's the future. Like, dude, you're already better than most devs when it comes to prompting. And like, you understand, you can do everything they can do, because you understand, that language in a sense. But overall, you're 100% right. For guys like us who aren't technical, if we put in 3 to 5 months into this seriously, and what I mean by seriously is actually delivering projects. I didn't start by just doing demos, right? What we're preaching in the community of find that first client and then almost try and figure it out is exactly what we did. We were on Reddit, like Terrell's already probably told you. I was making posts based off of a use case that I found of someone else, had a demo attached, and then got a first client. That was essentially like the first voice system that we built from finish for somebody. That was not the best, but that's the starting point. But ultimately, okay. So as of right now, what initiatives? So you like our product in it, and one of our biggest things was this space is so huge, you don't need to make the most complex system. You can sell the most generic things, get people into the market, because the biggest thing as of right now is it's exciting technology, but everyone's scared of it unless you're in the know. So unless you're very aware of its potential, the return on investment isn't very clear. That's why everyone's in search of case studies, because case studies are the easiest way to not only know what the result can be, but also to convince individuals who have no idea that they need it or it's useful. So ultimately, I guess my question would be, are you looking to have us replace your dev team currently, or are you okay?
So up to this point, we've been building some rapport with the client, and rapport is super, super important on discovery calls, because ultimately, if you know anything about sales, people buy from people they like. Lucky for me, this client was really cool, really easy to essentially just openly talk to, and the rapport building process was pretty smooth. Now we're moving into exactly what he's looking for in a voice assistant solution.
Okay. So what do you guys have going on right now? I'm curious.
So I am still officially employed with. We're not really functioning much at the moment. Okay. I have a tech team of half a dozen folks that are in the media space. We have an AI BPO, right? So we do a bunch of different things. I do not want them on this particular product, right? So our platform, which we're in partner with retail at the moment, right? I look at this space as a series of tools, just like you do, right? So all you did was you linked a series of tools that are already out there, and I can tell through your history of your YouTube, I did a good job of studying. You've replaced tools, and this is how this is going to be as we progress as a group, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of going backwards or changing, I would just like to hire you to build a product line out, right? I don't need a use case because I am the use case. Okay. I built all of our internal verticals from top to bottom. So when I fought the implementation problems, I said, okay, new game plan. Every single vertical that I take on, I partner with a company that needs a solution. Now you're in bed with us together. I will provide the solution, right? You're going to provide the product. So the first one I sent you is, right? It has a website, has been around for a long time. I'm a direct partner with the owner of the company. We're a 50-50 partner in the operation. We are going to take this, right, to fully AI. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I thought was, okay, they were on Moxie Solution CRM. Moxie doesn't want to play ball with us. Go figure. Mm-hmm. They were on Fort Point for the merchant account. I'm getting a little feedback, but they opened up their API key to us. Okay, so there you go. They're willing to play ball. Now we build it, right? So here's what I did. I decided to build the bot first and launch it on records. So I have an outbound bot, right, Veronica, and I have an inbound bot, Noah, and I wanted to just see. So I pushed thousands of records through Veronica, and I wanted to see how Noah would handle transfers, right? Then I took transfers inbound from huge centers in India. Well, guess what happened? Within 1 month, Noah, our AI bot, outsold all of our human agents.
Whoa. Okay, time out. You got to understand that. This is a huge thing. As you probably know.
It's almost impossible. And I'm not going to let all the secrets out of the bag. But I think that you are the right guys to partner with, because we can take this now, right? Yeah. You build out all of the connectivity. Pick the CRM, build it, right? We plug Noah in. You make improvements to Noah. We get all the connectivity of the puzzle together, and I start to turn on the real media. The real media is, of course, radio, TV, right? And all of the inbounds that are going to drive this thing.
Sure.
On our social media side of the equation, we're now running ads with widgets, right? Okay. So it widgets straight in, and that's how we're going to get around some of the FCC compliance and the TCPA nonsense that's going on out there, right? As of right now, from legal perspective, widget is a multimodal input, and that has not been governed by the FCC yet. Right? So if you think about it, Leonard, there's a future coming where you and I will communicate without ever touching Ma Bell or AT&T, however you want to call those folks, right?
Yeah.
The telephony lines in the FCC will be non-existent. They'll die, right? Because we're going to be on a different platform completely.
Yeah.
So we're preparing for that world. I like everything widget based on social media, bringing things in. I want to partner with you to build out this as the example. I already proved that I know that it works. Yeah. I was literally shocked by what Noah's doing. The first sale, when he pulled the credit card sale, and he literally did the whole thing.
Wait, hold on. This thing is taking credit card information?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And processing.
That's so. If you don't mind, you don't have to tell me any details. I'm curious
I don't mind sharing. We're going to do something here.
Okay, yeah, I'm so curious on this use case.
And I did this myself.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, the thing is, that's incredible, right? And it's so funny because we have a couple clients we're working with. One is an outbound use case, and their specific thing is they're going to be doing a very large global campaign, 5 different languages, and expanding. Essentially, when Elect Labs opens up to new languages and variations, we're going to immediately implement them because they have a thing going on. But regardless, it's funny because when we launched their initial campaign, there was success in that also. But the biggest thing with this is there's not very many success stories when it comes to outbound because it's so difficult. Like there's so many variables, and to take it to the extent of capturing a payment information, processing the payment, and it working is huge because even setting appointments is difficult if you don't not prompt appropriately to collect that email accurately. So that's incredibly impressive.
So what we had to do, right? Because I was getting pushed back from the CRM. I was getting pushed back from the merchant account, right? And as you know, that can be problematic. I just decided to launch, and then we manually process on the fly. So we have agents sitting there waiting. So if Noah makes the sale, right, I had to go in and manually do it. Because now is when the connectivity needs to happen. So I'm fighting with my partners. They're super excited about this, right? Except that we're not getting anywhere with the CRM company. They're going to fight it. So I said, right, I then bump into you guys when I'm on a search. And I said, wait a second, these guys figured out how to do this. Now, if you already integrated to, let's just call it a Google Sheet, then that means that you can use that same methodology to get to Monday or HubSpot or whatever platform you prefer. And once inside of there, we can curtail it specific to the industry.
And exactly, right? But beyond that, there's also things that we can kind of manufacture. Okay? So one of the issues with, for instance, we'll say go high level. Some of these CRMs, and ultimately another situation that the industry is in right now is outbound is so new when it comes to voice AI that a lot of platforms just don't have the infrastructure to support the features necessary to have a successful outbound campaign. For instance, Go High Level. Go High Level is a great CRM, but when triggering calls, there's a couple things you have to think about. Under the currency limit for retail is 20. Well, good thing they have an API that immediately can trigger that.
Let's stop this discussion just right now. So I work with another development crew, right? That specifically on my outbound. And I can tell you that we have our concurrency level set at 700 with retail, right? And I can push, we have tests to do a peak of 1200 concurrently all the time. So I can push a data file in the US literally in a matter of minutes.
You know what's crazy about that? What's beautiful about retail is, and Bing, is these guys are so dev focused. These guys are devs at heart. And that's why we went with retail above Vappy and some of these other platforms, because when we were looking into the platform, first off, we saw immediately. But it gets interesting, but it's super, super dev in the beginning. It was strictly APIs. And it was like, okay, this is a great platform, but if you're not
missing all the bells and whistles that we needed, right?
It had all the bells and whistles, but if you're not a dev, it's hard to implement. And in our case, we were like, we need inbound traffic. What's the easiest platform that's popular that also is easy to teach people how to do these things? Because no one wants to look at a screen with a bunch of, a JSON going on and trying to piece it together, especially when you're non-dev, which most of the people see these videos. But regardless of all that, we saw it, we kept an eye on it. Once we saw how they were moving in the sense of their guarantees of time and things like having a concurrency API so that it can immediately know how many calls are available. But the biggest thing with that is it allows you to trigger, like you're saying, if your limit is 700, you can trigger more than that, because by the time one is triggered, the next one's lined up, but you still essentially have to know how many concurrency calls are left. So it's still making that API call. By that time, between it makes the API call and the first one that went through, it could be hung up. So it just allows it to just trickle through.
Then we started seeing the call failures and the fall off, and it would spiral over itself. Yeah, they all fell off the cliff together. Yeah, exactly. we went through those. Now, I got us to a point. I have a platform. It works. I know I can plug in. All I need to do is copy over my agent into the platform. I'll handle those kinds of things outside of our CRM build, right? I'll handle those kinds of things as secondary function. For most customers in a customer service environment, for instance, we use customers have a problem, they need to file a claim, they call in. We need to touch back with them that XYZ is happening. Most of those single levels can be triggered off of, let's just say, store-bought functions, right? In the massive outbound world, I have it built and we are ready to use it. I'm also have it on the shelf because I'm not going to touch anything with TCPA right now. Zero. I literally dialed right before the holidays, I dialed my last file just to make sure that we're good to go. But unless the political powers that be change directions, I'm staying away from outbound just because of the risk, right? And furthermore, and I'm sure you've already found this, the U.S. doesn't want to talk to anybody, right? So your contact rate is so damn low that it's not even worth it. So in my opinion, if India wants to blast the U.S. nonstop for the next 10 years, then, keep doing it. Enjoy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Okay.
More towards our inbound and our widgets. Yes, have the ability to outbound. That helped us in political campaigns, right? To get the word out.
Sure.
And use that. And I did, massive amounts for them this year. But I don't see that as our strong suit going forward.
I'm so happy you say that, because even with our client who we're doing the outbound for, in January, regulation is about to change. They're contacting businesses, but you're not going to even be able to contact businesses before Saturday soon.
And update to that, you still can make outbound calls to businesses. The regulation was pushed back to 2026.
So unfortunately,
B2B will be okay. But
so regulation is coming through to where they're going to start outlawing B2B as well, which is crazy. That's what we've heard.
We're gonna see. Who knows? Yeah. But for right now, it's better just to stay away from it. It's cool that we did it. It's cool that we got that check mark. We're ready to go if we ever need it.
Okay, so
business theory, Leonard. Just before I get off my
sure.
was created to do just that. I hate the concept of a lead, right? Lead generation. Now think about that principle. It's just business principle. Go back to your studies.
Mhm.
If you are generating a lead, then you are creating it. That's unnatural in itself. What I want to do is find people in need and align them with people who have what they do need.
Gotcha.
Right? So we help deliver them in whatever vertical we're doing. We help deliver them and connect them with the people who have. So that's why we started. One of our big platforms or verticals is tort law, right? So you're finding a victim, you're aligning them, making sure they're okay. You're carrying them. It's called a victim concierge. And then we're going to align them with an attorney that can help them, right?
Okay. So that's the use case here. We are
that's not the first one, but that's a new one coming up here.
Okay, so the first use case, if you're the high level use case from similar to how you just did there, what exactly will we be working on?
And this is where we really hone in on exactly what they want as far as their use case. Everything from the backend CRM to the exact questions they want to be asked, everything that they know they want. This is where we really clarify that. So it's 100% transparent moving forward.
You will be picture ads running on social media that have a widget. That widget connects to retail. What does the bot do?
Answers. Okay, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should just play him. Noah, where are you hiding? So Noah's going to collect the information. You're interested in. He can speak to you about what we offer, what we don't offer, right? Why we're a better value, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He can process you with the right package that you want. He can then go into a sale. We can go through the sale criteria. Why do I need you? Because now I need your help building it out clean. I built the use case. I built and proved that it works. Now I need a solution.
Gotcha. Okay, so you guys are running ads with this widget. Okay, so you guys are running ads with a widget and essentially qualifying people with that need immediately, giving them the solution, and then now, hey, here's a solution, we can build it. Okay, and then they contact you, and then you collect the payment, and then did it manually on the back end to create the solution, and then that was okay.
So we've done it all different ways, right? We've done it inbound, always inbound. For Noah, as our sales bot, we always have him inbound. I did build an outbound bot named Veronica that had the ability to call outbound, find potential users, and then transfer inbound. Why did I want to do that? Because I wanted to just see how Noah handled that versus how does he handle direct traffic off the website? How does he handle direct traffic off a radio ad? He functions great regardless. Why do we need a partner? I need a partner because this is just the first one. Ready to go right now. If I had the back end all put together.
Okay. So
do I think in your methodology of your script, in your prompting layouts that I've seen, I haven't been through all your templates yet, but what I have witnessed and seen through all of your videos, you have a better structure and layout that'll have less problems than I currently have. Sure. So why reinvent the wheel? You guys are doing it and you're doing it well. I'd like to partner with you. Let's send this one over you. Build out this first use case. Second use case will be tort. In tort law, I have 16 different styles of tort law, right? I want to keep our internal developers building the widgets, building the ads, building the media space, right? Doing that front end work. I would like to use you guys on the outside to do the back end.
Sure. Okay.
Now, this is a common thing that we run into here. Individuals are trying to build these solutions for different types of use cases, but they may not have the skills or the experience to do so. And that's why they reach out to us to try and partner with us. So if you're one of those individuals who's looking to just massively sell these voice assistants, you can go ahead and click the link in the description to contact us. We'll be able to hop on a discovery call, understand your use case, and then appropriately diagnose the best moving steps moving forward, I should say. Now, on the back of that, if you're just a business and you're interested in building out a voice assistant for your business in general, again, you can schedule a call with us where we can identify a use case, see if it's a great implementation for a voice assistant, and then kind of take it from there. So again, a link in the description to schedule that discovery call.
That makes sense?
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. So next steps here, David, would be usually create some type of proposal, enacting on the use case, but this is a different situation. We would need more information on exactly what you guys have and just more information on the state of things at the moment for us to give you a better idea of what that would look like us working together. I want to arrange another call to potentially go through in more detail. I know our call's kind of going here, but maybe are you able to send over how have you been able to share Noah in the past so we could just get in a second?
I think we're just gonna. I don't know if you want to. I don't think we need to sign fancy NDAs or any of that, right? Blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to send you the prompt, some recordings. What else would help you?
Sure. So
I'm bother with CRM criteria because at this point, all CRMs are sort of redundant and stupid anyways, because there's so many, you know what you need to gather.
Yeah. So I guess you're looking to build essentially a platform, boom, all in one platform with the front end UI, with the back end of retail, make or whatever, make this thing work, and just sell that to a million people, and then just have them.
No, we're not going to sell it to anyone. I own it.
Okay, so you're just offering that as a service, automate the whole platform. Sorry.
Automate the entire platform.
Gotcha.
And then once we have that vertical automated, great. Now we go to the next one. Automate that next one. Go to the next one. Automate that one.
So one point there. You notice I'm always trying to reiterate what I assume he's talking about or the use case. Therefore, if something like just happened right now where there's a little miscommunication, we can be corrected and make sure we're aligned on exactly what we're building out.
Right?
Now I'm on the same page.
I'm done with customers. I'm done with customers and I'm done selling. Now, now that I said that, of course, people are amazed at what I've done since I left. So guess who's coming back me? I just signed 4 reseller agreements, right? With sales folks that all want to say, you got to do what you got to do. What you're doing is amazing. Can we have this?
Mm-hmm. Well, gotcha. Okay.
Then I'm sitting back going, damn, my development team can't do this. And I can't do it physically myself. Yeah. But there's so much opportunity here. I bump into your guys' stuff. I took literally an entire day to watch every one of your videos, right? And I said, this we got to meet. Because maybe you're the guys, right? That if your team is already doing this, I don't have to teach anything. I ran a test, Leonard. I ran a test. I did not give them a prompt. I gave them a use case. And I gave my developers, build this and make this work. Mm-hmm. But we only get 20 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Man, I ended up with a glorified IVR multi-prompt built inside of retail. You could tell that these people don't have a clue, man. They just like, tick, 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 separate LLMs, no continuity whatsoever. It sounded horribly robotic. It was ridiculous. They said, well, this is the only way we could get live data to post live time. Well, wait a second. Why do I need live data live time? I don't need it live. Mm-hmm. I'm not, if I transfer it, right, I'm transferring it off without data. Mm-hmm. I can post the data at a later date if I choose to, but we're not doing that methodology, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting because classical developers, the translation of prompting and building voice agents doesn't, and it's hilarious. Terrell also said the same thing because Terrell is a developer of the core. This guy didn't go to college. He's been developing since middle school. When he was in class and they took away his computer, he was doing code by hand, writing on paper. So this guy's, different mindset, but he more than anything understands depths. But the best thing about Terrell is he also has a mind for marketing, which is very rare when it comes to developer. He understands business, he understands marketing, and he really studies these things. He's a unicorn in that effect. But what he's always said is, dude, devs can't do what we're doing here, bro. He's like, you don't understand it. They are meant to have directions on how to do something. And if anything falls outside of those directions, they stop and they don't know what to do because they're not problem solvers. They don't look outside of the directions to see what other issues might pop up that they have to account for. So unfortunately, when it comes to things like prompting and having to test and iterate and improve based off of inputs, based off of a test that you just did, right? It's a whole different thing as opposed to just, hey, here's... We're taking the transcript on the fly, right? Putting it back into GPT, asking GPT to concisely make revisions and edits, then update the markdown, then back in, right? Completely different. They don't get this. They don't get this world. And God forbid the transcript translates something incorrectly, because then we're off the rails. Who knows where? Right? So there's so many different things, right? Just improving the accuracy of data collection, whether that be using O1 post call to verify the transcript was correct, or different elements collected were correct, different things like that, right? But yes, okay. So this is fantastic. I'm very interested. What do you need me to send you? I'll get the prompt. I'll get you a couple of recordings. I guess. Yeah, send me that. Send me the prompt recordings. I know the website you sent us was the law one. Do you guys have a website at the moment with more information on?
So at this point in the discovery call, I'm collecting all the information that I would need to create that proposal for the next call. So on this call, we verify exactly what we need with the client. Therefore, it's minimal communication, maybe just one follow-up email, just reiterating what we discussed on this call, exactly what we need to create and prepare for that proposal call.
What did I send you?
It was a Calendly. You sent.
Yep.
Okay, so that's it. Perfect. Okay, perfect. So that one, we got the website. Yeah, call recordings. Are fantastic.
Or would you prefer transcripts?
I'm sorry.
Transcripts or recordings? Which do you care?
Honestly, if you start with 2 transcripts, 2 recordings, that'd be perfect. And then the prompt is what, so we can just identify what's going on there. And then that should be a good amount. We might have to have another call just to really lock in exactly, what needs to be done here and vision for this. This is a different type of arrangement. With partnerships, it's a little different. I definitely want to get Terrell on this next call, so we can really just align with expectations on your end. Because that's the biggest thing. We want expectations on your end to align with what we're going to be delivering. I'm going to be very concise and clear on what this is going to look like from project to project to project, so that we can have a nice, smooth, successful partnership here. That's our biggest thing, expectations, because in the AI space, expectations quickly get misaligned. But you have a good sense of where the space is as far as the tech. So that's really great. So yeah, other than that, let's arrange another call. When are you free later on this week to hop on another call to review this? I know New Year's is Wednesday.
So Thursday, Friday, I think I'm pretty much open. I can make it open.
And on this call, what we're doing right here is actually scheduling the next follow-up call, which is super important. Whether it's a proposal call or just another call to realign on exactly what you're going to be building, you need to do this now. Because if you rely after the call via email, that's when someone doesn't respond or things get elongated, and the next thing you know, the client just disappears. So in this situation, we're scheduling that next call immediately, which is crucial before you end the initial discovery call.
Let me look at my calendar before I say all that. Yeah, I can make it.
Okay. So yeah, we can do
Thursday, Friday. That's fine. You
Okay.
want to send one over? You want to do it on Google again?
Yeah, I'll send one over here. Thursday, same time. So what will probably happen here is we'll review all the information you provide us. And then on Thursday, we'll hop on the call and just review and realign on exactly what you're looking for here. You want us to build out this system here.
Let me be real concise on that right now, just so you can take it back to Terrell as well. First of all, I am never married to any particular company or platform or tool.
Perfect.
The way I see it is you guys know your space, use what you want to use, right? So that said, we know that we're going to have a bot, right, that is going to communicate back and forth with a brain. Let's call it a CRM. Let's call it a Google Sheet, whatever you want to call it, right? That brain is then going to have to be able to take that customer, absorb that information, and then process a sale. So we're going to have an API of some variety out to whatever the brain is. We're going to have an API go out to the merchant account to process the credit card, right? And now this is a revolving every month. It builds, right? So now in the system of the CRM system, it needs to be able to bill every month the $99 fee, right? It has to have both our side user, right, access into this platform, as well as we have to have at least one outbound access, because the merchant accounts want oversight, right, as the underwriters into the platform, just to check to make sure everything's being legit. That's step one. Step two, we take the entire customer service sector that exists and we automate it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Perfect.
Now you have a sales avenue automated, a customer service avenue automated, and then we can go crazy on our ad spends, filling up the buckets.
Gotcha. Okay. Perfect.
I have a team of 2 humans right now that can handle when Noah makes mistakes, which happen, right? We use 2 humans that can do that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right?
My,
Go ahead.
my one thing would be with payment processing, it can be very difficult and a lot of things can go wrong. And obviously that's a very important part of the, conversation because that's the conversion, right? There's a lot of friction that occurs. Currently right now, the way you're doing it, and I'll review the call recording, but it seems like they give the number, boom, the voice says, perfect, thank you for providing that. Your payment has been processed, right? And then it's done manually on the back end. As you know, in real time, that could take 10 to 20 seconds, depending on how quickly the payment processing platform, sends the response message and retail and, so keeping in mind that you might see a decrease in conversions just because of that. That is, a very big.
We're starting here fresh.
Yes.
Right. So you'll see when you check out the website. It's been all redone. All the ads are not out yet. So we're launching brand new fresh. So we have no idea what the conversion rate will be because we're starting all afresh in a fully AI mode. I merely got Noah out to handle some calls against the 2 agents that could handle the same calls. So I went 2 human agents with 20 years experience against Noah, and they beat him for the first 2 weeks. After that, he beat them regularly.
That's crazy. So what?
So what just happened right there is I'm explaining some of the pitfalls that could occur. Again, making sure that we're being 100% transparent. So when things do occur, i.e. things go wrong or it doesn't perform exactly how we initially thought it would, I should say. We knew on the first call that we explained this, and it's not something of a pointing finger situation of, I thought this was going to work perfect. So you always want to be transparent. You always want to make sure everything that you think possibly go wrong, you essentially explain that to the customer initially on the discovery call so they know 100% what they're getting into.
Were you making the changes and adjustments along those 2 weeks?
Constantly. Yeah. So I would watch every call that was over 3 minutes, translate, make sure I took the translations, beat the heck out of my GPT, right? Fine tuning on where could I make improvements? How can we overcome this? That kind of situation.
Gotcha.
I think I screw up personally in some of my scientific process. For instance, and I'm sure you've probably made this mistake too. I could quickly adjust and edit the prompt before truly validating whether it was a fluke, right? Or really a problem.
Yeah. Because there's so many things, whether it be like audio quality, an accent,
the sound, or et cetera, yeah. So sometimes you just have a bad connection of some variety and it can throw off your data.
Most
right?
definitely.
And I think I screw up in some of my review on that platform.
Pretty much. So basically, I mean, before I was in the mindset of, okay, we're building a whole, essentially a whole platform system. No. At this point, it's essentially just voice assistant with more complex integration, which is fantastic. When it comes to our voice agents, they range anywhere from $3,000 to $12,000, and that's just based off of the process put in to get them to the point where they need to be. If you want something performing at, what we delivered in the past, which is 94 to 99% accuracy rate, those are the $10,000 to $12,000 packages because that's a 6-week time frame as opposed to a 4-week time frame, which is the basic package, which is that $4,000 time frame. $4,000 number. But ultimately, that's our base package. That's the basic of how we work. Now, in a situation similar to yours, where you're like, hey, this is one use case, and we want to move on to 6 others. That's a different situation because now you're working with us to build multiple voice agents. So with that, the pricing changes slightly, obviously because it's more bulk. But is that within what you were expecting as far as what it would look like to work together?
Boom. Right there is where we're qualifying the client. We're explaining our price range, explaining why there's a price range, i.e. the testing phases. And he already has a really good idea of why testing is important because he's experienced inaccuracies in the voice assistant, as he's previously explained. So I don't have to harp too much on exactly why testing is important. But straight away, we're explaining our packages, we're explaining the price range, and then making sure that he understands and was expecting those prices. So moving forward, we're not wasting anybody's time.
Yeah, I think a realistic number to get this particular plus platform off the, I already know that what it's going to cost. I know that it's going to be $20,000 or better, right? It shouldn't be more than that, but I have it earmarked up to $20,000 just to get the first build up off the ground.
Okay, perfect.
Whatever your number comes in at, I'm going to run it off to my partners. We're going to say, you guys want it? You and I both know, Leonard, that You're not going to hire a floor, right? You're not going to build a CRM, hire a floor, right? Connect with your merchant, right? And put all your URL stuff together for some sort of customer portal for your agents. You're not, and a dialer. You're not doing all that inexpensively either. So
no.
I would much rather do it efficiently, do it right, so that it takes care of itself and gives a better customer experience. That's the end of the story.
And just to confirm, you want us to build that entire thing, or are you going to have some of your team build parts of that? Because you were talking about
the only thing I want my team to do on this is I would like, they'll manage at the end, right? Because I'll have a manager over the top of it. On the front end, I would like, as our CTO, I want him and his team to build the widget because I need it in all different kinds of things. So the concept in 11 Labs, I'm sure you're playing around over there. Their widget works fantastic, automatic, right out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Retail doesn't have it. I have to build it. Mm-hmm. I want them to build the widget, the access in, and handle the front end.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're building the voice agent. Just to have a listen, I like to just clarify the things again, just for the notes as well, because I always come back and review these calls, and I like to just be clear, like, all right, this is exactly what we're going to be at. So we're building the voice agent. And if you're able to list off those other things for me here.
Voice agent, CRM integration, right?
Yep.
API integration to merchant account, some way to process the payment. Then you're going to have to do reporting, right? Which will be in your CRM.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's what, okay. Perfect. Yeah.
So right there, again, before we end the call, we again realign on exactly what we're building so we understand the scope and we can appropriately price the project accordingly.
That's under the realm of a voice agent. So that's perfect. Yeah. We can definitely do that.
Nothing crazy. And then, next step will be, after that's done, using your same integrations. Now you're just adding another agent. What is that agent? That agent is a customer service agent.
Gotcha.
That can handle inbound calls and help customers. Maybe they can make a few outbound calls if there's something that needs filling in or updating. Your credit card didn't process. Could we please get a new card? Blah, 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 those kinds of things.
Sure. Yeah. I will say, there can be some tough aspects of having an inbound and outbound assistant, essentially with the same prompt. But we can take a look at that. The retail's great with dynamic prompt, dynamic meet openings and stuff. But we can look into it.
I've had horrible success with inbound and outbound same prompt.
Yeah.
I've been building a separate bot.
Okay. Perfect. I just wanted you to.
A separate prompt. Like, if Noah's taking our calls on the sales side, then I have, Veronica dialing outbound, and then I'll have another client we have is I'll have handling all of our customer service stuff. Totally separate.
Okay, perfect. No, this is great. It is 10:16, so I want to be, conscious of your time.
Clear.
Yeah, we're good. I have everything I need. Go ahead and send me those things. And then I'll set that meeting for Thursday, 9:30. Terrell will be on that call as well. I'm excited about it. I can already see the vision. I'm right there with you.
I'm long-winded, but thanks for taking some time with me.
Hey, no worries. I appreciate your time. 9:30 to, I'm PST. Are you PST?
No, Boca Raton, Florida, EST.
Okay, so 9:30 for me, 12:30 for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. All right, we'll talk soon.
Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Bye.
Well, that's it for today. And if you found this video valuable, please hit that like button. It really helps us reach a wider audience. If you want to see more content on Voice AI, make sure to smash that subscribe button along with that notification bell to never miss another one of our videos. We'll catch you next time. Peace.